if they have to be in the same room. It's the mother and the kids, all four, they're in 4 different rooms. Having dinner.
That's a big problem. At the rate, I mean, the Amazon, also Madagascar, they burn it down and it makes people realize their ash for like a short time and then they move on and burn down another section. Yeah, because they don't know, they don't, they're just trying to make money.
I would like to share with you a little bit on the path that I've done in the last maybe 20 years or something. And I'll do it through the story of what I'm doing, but the focus won't be just on what I'm doing, but on the path that is driving this for me. And this path started with understanding that I'm largely hypocritical.
Good to start with something like that. Thanks for telling the truth.
Yeah.
We're with you. Yes.
And really realizing that there's so many things that I believe in, that I want to be, that I want to do, but I'm really not them and not doing them. And it was a very saddening moment in many ways to see how unaware I am in my actions. But it also, in a way, became a beautiful moment because I understood that it's in my hands. I can actually start closing that gap between what I believe in and what I'm doing. And it's not a matter of spiritual experiences and all of this. This is good, and I had some of this, but it's really a matter of tedious work, day in and day out, to observe what I believe in and what I'm doing now, here, today, and I used different ways to address this, and one of the ways that I want to share with you is called the theory of constraints. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the theory of constraints. No? Okay, so theory of constraints is by a guy named Goldratt from the 1980s. 1984 is when he wrote his book, The Goal, a very interesting management book. And it basically says, it's a management theory, okay? So it speaks about organizations, but it can be applied to ourselves as well. And it says, if you have an organization, and that organization, like any organization, has many aspects, let's say marketing, production, I don't know, transportation, whatever, human resources, you don't improve all of them, okay? What usually happens in management is what's called total quality management, TQM, yeah? So you look at all the aspects of your organization and you improve them simultaneously. Goldratt broke this and said, this is not the way to go. Find the most limiting constraint of your organization and improve only that. Don't deal with anything else. Yeah? And just recently, I think 2 weeks ago in the New York Times, there was an article, a very interesting article by another guy who is a neuroscientist from Harvard Medical School, Professor Barr, his name is, and he said that you're the most creative when your brain is not cluttered. Okay? So when people are very proud of them multitasking, you know, but multitasking is a killer of creativity. And a killer and a sucker of energy. Okay? So somehow Godrat and Bar, although they are 40 years apart almost, agree with each other and support each other, that if you concentrate all your effort on one limiting factor, on one constraint, you're doing much better with much less energy. So I decided to take this approach to my spiritual life and to say, you know, I have a lot of problems, but I can't deal with all of them at this time, and it's hard for me to meditate. I don't have really good ethics with my food. I waste too much money. I treat people badly. You know, so many things. I don't know how even to where to start.
I'm in
with
the
all
wrong
this.
room. I'm leaving.
So.
Could you lie just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm told that many times. Don't just spit it out, you know. It's not common in the society. So I decided to, instead of tackling all these problems, to tackle them one by one and say, okay, what is the thing that most pulling me down in my spiritual development? And now I put all my energy into this. And then when this is sort of done, I feel that I improved a lot, I can take the next thing and deal with that, and I found that a very good approach for me. And maybe through this presentation you will also see some of the things I've dealt with over the years, trying to improve them in myself. And actually Sadhana Forest, which is the project I'm doing in Orville, is a way for me to work to this path. They're exposed to this idea of really bringing consciousness into the most mundane things of life, like how much water you use, and what do you eat, and in what kind of structures do you live, and what do you use to build them, and many other things. So yeah, this is in general has been my path. One of the things that happened to me when I first came to Orville in '98, I was meditating on the beach. I lived in Shrima at that time, and I was meditating on the beach, and I opened my eyes and I said to myself, and my wife was cooking dinner at that time. It was like the sunset time, and she was cooking dinner, and she was cooking a chicken and potatoes and stuff, and I opened my eyes and I said, I can never touch meat and fish again. I'll never touch them in my life. And it was not a decision. It was just like, said, you know, I have to close this. I have to finish this, you know. And I went to the kitchen of the guest house, and I told my wife, I'm vegetarian.
You're still married?
I said, since 2 minutes ago. I just okay. I'll eat the chicken, you eat the potatoes. Okay? And that's an example of one thing that was important for me to close the gap, and it just happened, and many other things followed and evolved. And even that evolved. A year later I became vegan. 16 years later I became raw vegan. It's all the time a process of really really narrowing the gaps between what I believe in on many levels and what I actually do. Okay, so do you have any questions? Tell me.
I have a comment. I think
Yeah.
if you work on one point, it automatically works on other points too, without realizing.
Yes.
When you take the next one, you see already that thing has gone up there.
Absolutely, absolutely, and with much less energy than you would have spent if you would have spread your energy across the board. And that's what Goldratt was such a genius. Very recommended his book from 1984, The Goal, because he was the first one to actually say it's so simple.
Yes.
Do them one by one. But it was totally against all the theories of management at that time. Okay, so Sadhana Forest is an attempt to live the way I believe in. And it's a very weird way. So it's not always easily palatable for people. But it's at least sincere from my point of view that that's how, that's what I believe in and that's what I want to live. So the vision is to create symbiosis between people and forests, and the reason we want to create symbiosis is because people want a fast gratification. They want something out of everything. And they don't want to plant trees for the future of the planet and to produce oxygen. They want to plant trees or maintain trees or protect trees just if they get something very tangible now. So the fact that we are planting trees that produce food in most of our work is helping people see the tangible aspect and work with us. So these are the reasons for deforestation, and deforestation is happening mainly because we consume a lot of animal-based foods like meat and milk. It's responsible for, I would say, around 60% of all deforestation, because we are slashing forests and using them to grow food for animals, basically. That's how all the Amazon forest is going. And I'm sorry?
I just said, so stop eating it, meat especially.
Yeah, milk is as bad, and I mean it's not that meat stands out. It's milk, meat, eggs, and so on. Okay, these are the areas where there is desertification, and you can see them, the red areas. But I won't go very deep into this. We started Sadhana Forest, my wife, my daughter, and I, 13 years ago in Oroville. And the idea was to reforest a piece of land, but mainly to live with our own lifestyle. Because it was very difficult to live with that lifestyle in other communities. Even to join a community in Oroville was a challenge, because we are vegan and we're into gift economy. So we don't sell any services, and we didn't send our children to school. We are really into this free progress thing in a very, what was perceived as a very extreme way, and so we're not really very much wanted. To say it mildly.
No, not true. You're very admired in Orville.
Yeah. No, we're admired as long as we do our own thing alone. But,
an example of doing your own thing and not getting caught.
Yeah. But when people heard, so you don't want to charge, so how will we make money? Okay, so anyway, that's all behind us. We took a decision to do the thing, and we're happy that we did it, and I think that it's good for Oroville as well to have different examples of different things, even if people don't feel it, they connect to it, but it increases the diversity. And people ask me sometimes, would you want that all Oroville would be like Sadhana Forest? I said, no, God forbid, no. Because the beauty of Oroville is the diversity, is the fact that people can do their thing and can do it wholeheartedly and can do it fully and with conviction, and that's what makes Oroville so beautiful. I wouldn't want to live in a monoculture of vegan foresters. So the beginning was this, like huts and stuff like this, building, a lot of building, and creating a volunteer community. Actually, a volunteer community is something that happened to us almost without our will. They just started coming and saying, oh, you're doing this new project in Oroville, we want to come and join you. And they lived under, and we all lived under pieces of plastic and all kinds of temporary shelters, even without huts in the beginning, because they came in such numbers that we didn't have enough time to build the huts for everybody. This is our main hut. So one of the ideas of Sadhana Forest is the simplicity, and it's not simplicity because of scarcity, simplicity because of an ideology, okay? And I feel that has helped us so much with the local people, because many Tamil people come to Sadhana Forest and say, this is how my grandfather lived. And they don't live like this anymore. They built a paka house by now, but they appreciate the fact that sometimes you need foreigners to remind you your own culture. It's like that all over the world. So we use solar and human power. We realize that we have a lot of powerful young people. A great resource, and
Bicycle blender. Oh, great.
we have a bicycle blender, we try to keep it simple so that the people can copy this. It's not that even for instance, the human power generator is built for we built it for 28,000 rupees. There were designs that we could buy for 1 lakh rupees or more than that, 100,000 to more than that. But we said, no, we want to do it in a way that everybody that wants to can do it. That they can buy old bicycle parts, have a very thin metal frame, and it would work fine. We use many different water conservation techniques, and this is, again, because of this attempt, we spent a few years actually bringing the water consciousness into Sadhana Forest. So looking at all the water processes systematically, how much we use in the toilet, how much we use in the kitchen, how much we use for hand washing, how much do we store on the land, and learning the techniques. And it was, I would say, almost 4 years that were devoted Goldratt way to water. Okay, now we do water. We bang this thing, finish, we go to something else. So this was part of the water effort. Swales and earth dams and gabions, and it's nice because now this knowledge is also available for others. We can share it with others in India, but also in other places in the world. So it was good to concentrate on Gabion.
What's a gabion?
Gabion is on a river or a stream. You basically slow the water down by usually it's done by putting stones in
But it can come
cages.
through a little bit.
Yeah, in cages, but we did it in a little bit of a different way. We did it like a whole block. I went to Pondi and bought old metal from the Kujili market, and just made a wall for metal, filled it with stones from the river, and then the water seeps slowly through it. Yeah.
Good, wonderful.
Yeah.
When you were developing your water consciousness, were you on the internet too, researching what others?
Yeah, on the internet, talking to people, reading books, different ways, but mainly listening to people. One of the things that served us most in doing Sadhana Forest is the fact that we're not officially foresters. Because once you have the ego of a professional, it's really difficult to learn from others. But once you know, I don't have any certificate in forestry, so whoever thinks they're a forestry expert, I accept them as my gurus and listen to them and try what they're saying. And then it enables you to gain a lot of knowledge from a lot of people. I don't know if I could have done this in my profession, my original profession, because there I had much more of a bigger ego. But in forestry, because I don't have any certificates, and I took it like, okay, I'm here to learn. So it was much easier.
Now you're an expert, right? Do people come to you as an expert? They ask you.
Yeah, I don't know why. But as long as they come, it's good. So water conservation, we worked on, for instance, for a few weeks trying to see how to do dishwashing. So different things. We tried different to do with different grains and ash and iodine and vinegar and ammonium and trying all kinds of things. How to disinfect, how to in the most environmental way and water conscious way. For instance, we used to take bucket showers, like this. And then one guy said, why not hang the bucket and just puncture it in the bottom? So then it was very simple. So you lift the bucket, you hang it, and it has holes, and you just take a shower until it's finished and it's done. And then you know that, it's 20 liters, you can't go more than 20 liters, otherwise you have to carry another bucket, and you're maybe not in your dress when you're doing that, so it's pretty, self-limiting. And bucket laundry and other stuff. Okay, so planting techniques, also how to make that effective, how to make that less invasive. And so we sort of developed the method of planting above the ground rather than in the ground. And how to use water. So we tried to develop this thing called wick irrigation bottle, which is a bottle that seeps the water very, very slowly to the roots of the plants and helps them use less water. So it reduces actually the amount of water by about 20 times to what you would use if you water from above. Why? Because you avoid all the evaporation. Yeah? It's like to explain it very figuratively, when you drink water, you drink it like this and not like this. And the reason you don't drink like this is because very little water will actually trickle where you need it. And it's the same thing with the plants, that when you water them on the leaves, they're very thankful to you, but they can't do anything with it. But when you water them in the roots, then it's much more. Yeah.
There is a group in close to Mexico, indigenous people, Mesoamerican, who plant pots, terracotta pots underground and fill it with water, so it kind of distributes evenly.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
soil.
Yeah. That was done in India also. There are areas in India that this was traditionally done. They would plant the kuja before they would plant the tree, and usually with very porous pots that sweat the water out of the pot and then it spreads. That's also great. The only thing is that it's a little bit difficult to remember where the kuja is after you planted it. If it's open, then there's a lot of evaporation.
It's a kind of open, but with a
Yeah.
lids.
Yeah. You can do that, or this you also recycle the bottle. So I found this. I did the kuja thing also for a few years, but then I didn't remember where the kuja was. So I put a bamboo stick to the kuja, but then the termites ate the bamboo stick, and I just saw a lot of termites, but I didn't know where the kuja is still. And then we started with PVC pipes. We did a lot of experimentation, The end we ended up with this. I'm not saying it's ideal. for sure has to also be improved, but it has a nice aspect to it because when you open the bottle, air goes in and water flows out. So when you close it, the water would stay in the bottle, right? Because the soil would be up to here. Yeah, everybody is with me?
Yeah.
So you can actually, if you do a quarter of a twist, you have like 50 ml, 50 milliliter going down to the tree, to the roots, and that we found is enough for most species, even in deserts. 50 ml is enough per day if they get it directly to the right location. Yeah?
Why
So
do you,
it's-
I don't understand why why isn't it seeping water all the time?
It's basically this is filled with water,
Yes,
and the water seeps through the wick.
yes.
Yeah, and if you
It's a
close the cap,
Yeah.
there's no air entering, so there's no displacement of air. Nature doesn't like vacuum, right?
So it needs
So-
air for the water pressure to push it?
No, not for the water pressure, just for the water displacement. You know, like water.
If
You can't
stick
make a vacuum
straw
if it's
in water
closed.
and cover the top of it, you can take the water
Yeah, you
out.
can take the water out. You know this
Because it
phenomenon?
can't drain.
Yeah, but I'm just not understanding why this thing soaked in water is not still saying soaked in water.
No, it's staying soaked in water, but the water wouldn't flow if you close, because if the water would flow, it would create vacuum here. And nature never wants vacuum, right? Air cannot expand too much. So the water stays here. But if you open,
Okay.
then air enters, water flows. That's how it works in reality.
All right, I guess I was just thinking the greater air of space of the land around would be pulling out from.
No, it's covered with soil, right? This is buried in the soil,
Yeah.
in compact soil, up to here. So the only way air could enter is through here. There's no other way. Yeah? You got
I
it?
know, I just didn't think it needed air. I thought it just needed the contact with the water and the string in
Yeah.
the earth to stay wet.
You have to have
Yeah.
faith now in what is.
Oh, all right, I do, sorry about that.
No
I'm
problem,
saying-
no problem.
I'm surprised.
I wish I knew how to explain better, but the only way I can explain it is
No, it's
that
very
nature doesn't like
interesting. There's a real
vacuum.
control there.
Okay. The bottom, we did it with M-seal, with epoxy. Yeah, not the
Something
most
that the
conscious
bugs
thing.
don't like.
We-
Something that the bugs won't eat. Right? That's
Yeah.
your thing, because bugs
Yeah.
will get to it.
The bugs will eat this after a while.
Yeah.
So 9 to 12 months this will be gone,
But
and then the
PVC
pipe
will be
is
there.
there to direct the water to the plant. That's why we put so the plant is sitting here, right?
Yeah.
With the roots, and the pipe would just direct this pipe would last a long time. And the nice thing about this thing that it's the total cost is about 2.5 rupees per piece.
And
Yeah.
you can reuse it
So
over and over.
this is recycled bottle. This is just a conduit, the cheapest electrical conduit that you can buy everywhere, and this is the cheapest cotton rope. So it's just like
California is going
40 of
through a
them for a
drought.
dollar.
yeah.
People that
This
don't
is a
know.
good time to introduce this here.
Absolutely. I was in DC a few months ago with, I met with NIFA, with the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and they were really happy to see this. Because,
Because we have a plastic bottle problem too.
yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Solve them together.
Why don't you patent this technology?
I didn't invent it, so it's difficult to patent it.
He's not into that.
The wick irrigation existed before us. What we added to this was this specific design and the water displacement. But the people were using wicks before. The thing is that they were using them, for 5 plants in their backyard. Nobody was using it on a large scale like we do for thousands or dozens of thousands of trees. But I read about it on the internet, and then we experimented with many different kinds of bottles and wicks and pipes, and this over more than a year. And we measured, we put like 50 of them and measured how much water flows and marked and how much you have to twist to give 50 ml. There's a lot of research that it looks very silly, but there's a lot of research that was put into making this work.
So this means that if you use 50 milliliters a day,
Yeah.
and this is this 1 liter?
This is 2 liters. This
2
will
liters.
last for 40
So it
days.
means 40 days.
Yeah, exactly. So every 40 days you have to come, fill it up.
In grape farming around here and all over, they use drip irrigation.
Yeah.
How does this compare to that?
So
In terms
so
of
drip goes
in
from
terms
the
of
top.
large production.
Drip goes from the top, so it's subject to evaporation. This goes from the bottom,
So it's
from directly to the root. So drip is definitely better than
Sprinkler.
the other challenge with drip is, and that depends on how you use it, is that you want trees in dry areas to root deep, very deep. So sometimes what happens with drip, because it's always moist on the top, the feeder roots, you would see them just on the surface. And that's not good, because when you stop irrigating, then there's a lot of, and many people that use drip irrigation don't open it like, the way you should use drip irrigation if you use it is to open it full blast for a few hours in the night, in the beginning of the night, let it soak down, and then the roots would follow it. But what people do is they open it on a little trickle, sometimes even 24 hours a day, and that's not so good. It encourages shallow rooting.
And that's what I wanted to ask about the 50 ml a day, because it seems like that's just not enough water to go deep.
Yeah, so this is already deep, right? So the roots would already follow this. If after a while, when the roots are much deeper, this would decay, and then it would run much faster.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's sort of biodegradably smart.
So what is the advantage in having, once the wick is rotted, the water goes directly from the conduit? So
This is slower in the beginning,
Right.
when the plant needs very little water, and it's already quite deep because the roots are here, so it enables them to deep them. And then when the plant has bigger needs, this is gone. So it happens, simultaneously. The decay of this and the increased need of water for the plant. Afterwards, let's say when a plant is 2 years old or 3 years old and I need to water it, I can just put here 2 liters or 4 liters and just run it. And just use the fact that the conduit goes underground and there's no evaporation.
So then it's like a normal bubbler we have. Around the trees we would normally place a bubbler here, which is like a hollow conduit, big conduit.
Yeah.
To
I don't know
basically guide the roots down.
Okay.
How labor intensive is going around and unscrewing and rescrewing and stuff like that down?
It's far less work intensive than carrying 20 times more water. Believe me. Yeah.
In California now, we live in Southern California, we were required to put the GPS system with our garden. So they explained to us that they measure the moisture in the soil. How do they do that?
They just take the soil.
No, but it's automatic all. They decide. No? Oh.
The way you do it, like the way we do it, is that you take a kilogram of soil,
Right.
and then you wait after you dry it, and you see,
No, I think I know the answer. From satellite images, they have different filters they put,
that they can do also.
and they see different colors. So depending on the moisture, they'll see a different color
Just
pattern.
from the satellite.
Satellite pictures
Because
really up there.
it waters as needed.
Yes.
They only have to know when was the last rain, right? Before the
Right.
satellite
Right.
image was taken, otherwise. Yeah, satellite imagery now does
It's
amazing
really-
things.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
They're doing archaeology now with satellite imagery.
yeah.
One question.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
How this thing-
Can you tell me, does Sadhana Forest have a website where we could duplicate, like
Yeah.
classroom teachers, people like that could duplicate the
Yeah.
water bottle?
It does. Sadhanaforest.org.
Perfect, thank
As
you.
simple as that. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So this is our technique of planting. It's basically planting above the ground. So we create a sort of a cone with this PVC pipe, which we will later remove and reuse, of course. Fill it with water, plant the wick irrigation bottle, then plant the plant.
I have a question. Why do you build above? Why do you, instead of digging a hole, why is it advantageous to
Yeah.
build above?
We want to be special. That's the deep answer. But no, I mean if you look at the tree planting, how it's done by nature, there's no digging, right? There are leaves falling and decaying aerobically, then more leaves falling, the other ones are decaying anaerobically, it becomes topsoil, the seed falls, and that's the process of creating a forest. There is no digging involved, and we try to involve as less digging as a biomimicry idea, you know, to mimic nature and to, but there's another practical reason, more down to earth, that it costs about 10 rupees to dig a hole, which is a lot of money when you do a lot of holes. The volunteers, it's really difficult for them to dig holes in the very compact ground that we have in Southern Forest. So I have to bring workers, I have to pay them 10 rupees per hole, and even the holes are not, you know, they're supposed to be like this, but they're actually like this because it's difficult to dig, and I understand them. So we decided to rethink it, you know, and to try to find something else. And actually this idea was inspired by Deepak Bhai. I don't know if you know, he's Deepak Sachde. He's a very good farmer from Madhya Pradesh, from near Bhopal. He's a very good friend of ours, and he came and said, why don't you, you know, you have such tough ground, why don't you try to plant above the ground? And so we tried it, but the technique was not good, the plants didn't do good. And then over the years we evolved our own technique that really works well. And we've tried it in many other places, in Haiti, in Kenya, in Portugal, in Spain, in Brazil. It worked perfectly in all those locations, so it's doing very well.
So where is the soil coming from?
Where
The mound that you're building?
Yeah.
Where are you bringing it from?
Okay. So let's say this is the slope that we are planting on. Okay. Instead of digging a deep hole like this, we dig a trench above, on the slope above the location of the tree. Let's say I decided that the tree should be here. The trench would be dug, let's do it like this, here, okay? A shallow trench. And then the tree would be put here, and this soil would become the mound. So we are earning in terms of water conservation above the tree. There is a trench that would actually percolate the tree, and every tree has a sort of a water conservation trench and the heat.
Is the soil softer near the surface and easier to dig?
Exactly. As you go in, it's becoming, you know, there was a volunteer.
Trees do you have now, and how large is your forest?
So we planted 32,000 trees in India.
Fruit trees?
There are 166 different species. There are of tropical dry evergreen forest, of the original forest of the Oroville area, of this plateau, but from all the water conservation work, more than 100,000 trees came on their own. Yeah, so there's a lot of natural regeneration. Most of the trees, it's roughly 3 to 1. What you get, so if you do good water conservation, for every tree you plant, you get 3 bonus.
So
you
how
know?
large is the forest now?
I'm sorry?
How large is the forest?
How large? It's about, I would say the planted area about 60 acres. Yeah.
Is that around Oroville?
It's in Oroville, but it's a little bit outside of Oroville also. So it's Oroville land, but it's outside of the green belt, outside of the circle of Oroville. Yeah. The mother purchased a lot of land for the original location of Oroville, which was not where it is today. And then when in 1965 she shifted the idea to the center of Oroville, even before the foundation, then we stayed with a lot of land that we're trying to utilize.
So I have a question. So you have built a mound and the trees up there, and when you remove it, the mound still remains. So you have created different mountains, one mound for each tree?
Yeah, it's a small mound for each tree, If you want, we are planting a tree just after this at 11. You can join us if you like. And yeah, and
the mound remains.
The mound remains. Yeah, the mound remains. Yeah.
That second photo makes it look like it's a big mound.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like usually like a foot or a foot and a half, depending on the size of the tree we're planting.
It doesn't get washed away by the rain?
No. Doesn't. I don't know how to explain why, but it doesn't. Somehow the roots, I think, keep it, or it doesn't.
Yeah, roots arrest the soil.
Yeah, yeah. It washes a little bit, but not significantly.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the forest sustains you, its productivity?
So the forest that we're creating in India is an ecological restoration project. So we're not expecting anything back from the forest except of the joy of working in the forest. But in Haiti and in Kenya, we plant only food-producing, indigenous, drought-resistant trees. And these are planted around people's homes, and their intention is to sustain them in terms of food security, long-term food security. So
What type of food is it?
I'm sorry?
What food?
It's nuts, fruits, and leaves. Mainly those three things, yeah.
But you do have fruit trees.
We have fruit trees in the compound of Sadhana Forest. We have about 150 fruit trees, but it's not.
Yes.
The major effort is
But
in
it's
the
to feed
ecological
volunteers and everything. You do grow food, feed yourselves.
we grow a little bit, but that's not the focus in India. In Haiti and in Kenya, the focus is very much on food production.
Aviram, how do you sustain yourself if you're not selling anything? Right.
We're very much into gift economy. So into, for instance, we teach permaculture courses that cost thousands of dollars. We teach them for free, even a 9 weeks intensive and stuff like this. And we survive from donations that come to us or from. So it's that kind of exchange. Yeah, yeah. And it doesn't always come on time, but it always eventually comes, you know? Like just before we close shop, it always.
Excuse me, I'm just a little dizzy, so I'm going out, but I'm very interested.
Thank you. Okay, so we grow all the fertilizer and the pesticides and would you like to walk from here? Maybe?
Yeah, come this way.
There is a natural path back here.
Okay.
Do you have that effect on many people?
I'm sorry?
That effect on many people.
Very good, love. Very nice.
Okay. So we deal with our composting stuff, toilets, food. We produce about 12 tons of compost from our toilets. Even one of our volunteers posted on Facebook that actually Sadhana Forest is a scam just to get the poop. We don't need it volunteers. That was an exaggeration, but I would say that it's a big contribution.
Can I ask you a question about
Sure.
how you cook the composting toilet? What kind of ingredients do you add besides poop?
So we add sawdust.
I wondered. Okay.
We add sawdust
What
because
kind of
it's
sawdust?
just from the local sawmill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pine.
Whatever.
Yeah. It
Whatever.
doesn't
I mean,
matter.
we're not picky.
Okay.
It works with everything. The only thing is aeration. It needs
Yeah,
to
aeration.
be mixed.
And
Yeah.
do you add anything like?
No.
I used to add popcorn to my composting toilet for aeration.
Yeah, aeration works fine. In the beginning, we used to add EM, like effective microorganisms.
Okay.
But now we don't need any more because there's a culture that is growing there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just when you aerate it a lot, it heats a lot, And that's even nice when you sit, your bum sort of warms up a little bit. And yeah, that's it. It works. Yeah. Okay. We do a lot of recycling, reusing of different things. Try to be creative about it and to you know, keep the resources in-house. We declared Sadhana Forest as a zero waste zone, meaning, are you familiar with this concept, zero waste zone? So you don't take anything out of the place. It's not that you don't enter in. You declare a geographical area, let's say this building, you say it's a zero waste zone, so you're not allowed to take anything out of this building. Okay? You have to recycle everything in the house. And that makes you very conscious what you bring in. Because if you know that you're bringing a plastic bag and you have to stay with it for the rest of your life, you're much more cautious when you bring it in. So it's a very good exercise of consciousness. Energy efficiency, so we have rocket stoves, which are a very sustainable way of burning wood. They save about 55%. We use 55% less wood. Why? Because they have a skirt. The pot sits inside, and the skirt radiates all the heat to the pot, and that avoids the main problem of cooking in terms of energy, that lateral use loss of energy. So you know, when you cook at home on the gas stove, you see these blue flames, you know, running around. So that doesn't happen here because it's all reflected back to the pot.
Yeah, so I grew up on that, okay?
Yeah.
That's how we cooked at home, and that's how all of pots.
But with the skirt, I don't think
No,
so.
not with the skirt, but exactly
the
like
skirt,
a hut.
The skirt is the most important aspect, not this. The fact that the fire is underneath is fine, like in any chola, yeah? But the special thing about the rocket stove is only the skirt. The fact that there is no loss of energy from the side. There's only 15 mm gap between the skirt and the pot, and all the heat is reflected in.
Where does the smoke go?
The smoke, there's hardly any smoke, but if there is, it goes from the gap between the pot and the skirt. The pot and the skirt are 15 millimeter apart. Yeah, there's a small gap.
Okay, I didn't.
So yeah.
I thought there wasn't any gap.
No. So the smoke can go out.
But those pots become all black.
Yes.
They become black because when you start the fire, it's smoking a lot.
Right.
Afterwards, you will come to the Sadhana Forest kitchen. There are 4 stoves working, you know, full blast, cooking dinner for Friday night. You know, when we have 100, 200 people, there's no smoke at all. Not
Even though you're burning wood?
Even though we're burning wood, they're so well combusted together, and really, what happens is, actually this is not a good example, but when you burn wood in a stove, they should never touch, the pieces of wood should never touch each other. In terms of combustion, the best is that you have 2 fingers gap between the pieces of wood, and they reflect the heat on one on another, and then there is full burning, and there is not a lot of smoke. And a lot of residues also. So it's very, very effective. They were designed by a friend who is actually a combustion expert. He has PhD in combusting wood, in thermodynamics of wood.
Is that somebody in Orville? Or?
They're pretty good. He lives just near Orville. He's not Orvillian, but he lives just near Orville. His name is Dr. Mohsin Sarar. He's from Morocco, very nice guy. Anyway, so this is just an illustration of the transformation of the land. So this is a picture from the end of the first year. This is about 6 years later.
Oh wow!
Oh my God!
And this is about 2 years ago. So
that's amazing.
this is sort of what has evolved. So these are some of the values that are we practice: veganism, gift economy that we mentioned before, non-competition. So we try to encourage, and this is one of the things that I spoke in the beginning about the discrepancy between what I believe in and what I do is in the area of competition and how competitive I am and how much I want to be, you know, and really to transform that energy into collaboration and into seeing instead of who's better, but how we can do be better together and support each other to be better. And that's a big thing, because you know, just volunteers play football, and you know, they take a ball and they play, and they immediately have two groups and they're fighting against each other. You know that everything is so competitive in our culture, in school. I studied one of my school years, high school in England, and we didn't have marks. We had only rating, only the position, they called it. Like, what's your position in class? So I was 8 in English literature. Okay. I didn't even know what mark I have, if I have 50 or I have 90% or just the position. So it's all built on strong competition. And we're trying to instill this in ourselves, but also to instill this in our volunteers, that you can go at it in a different way. Substance free, so all these substances are not allowed. And we encourage people to, we're not judgmental against them. We're not saying you shouldn't ever drink or anything like that, or it's not good to drink, but just try to experience. You're here for 2 weeks or for 2 months or for 6 months. Try to experience that time without any of these substances and see what it does to you, you know? And see, maybe you don't need them. Maybe you do. It's fine. Go back and use them. But maybe you don't need them. And many, I would say hundreds of people over the years have come to me after the stay in Sadhana Forest and said, you know, thank you for this present. It's the first time I had a dance party that I danced without alcohol and drugs in my life, you know. It's the first time that I ate and didn't have, you know, a cigarette after it in many years, and I feel so good and so healthy, and I'll try to keep it up. And it's very, I think it's very special for people. And some people see us as very rigid, to be sincere, and say this is too much. You're demanding too much. But I think that radical experiences have meaning. You know what I mean? They calibrate you somehow with yourself, and even if you don't, you know, keep them long. So we are very much into community, into creating a community, into people supporting each other and helping each other. And one of the things that we get a lot of feedback on is, and this is like hundreds of emails over the years, it's the first time that I felt that I'm accepted as I am. That's like the most common feedback that we get, you know, and that's a great thing.
Right.
Most of us never felt it from our parents, from our friends, from our spouses. You know, we never felt this. So.
Now pour it on top and show us the difference.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny? I gave a presentation in DC in a very fancy hall, you know, with like a very big hall with TV cameras and stuff, and I'm doing the same thing that I did now, but I forgot to close the camera. Well, we don't drink like this. That was the hit of the conference. I spoke about anything else. Thank God I made it by luckily it was water. So, yeah, we're all volunteers, which makes a big difference when people know that nobody is getting paid, and it's like elective poverty. You know, like you choose to be poor and financially, but you also choose a kind of richness. You know, and many people can't live with this. They feel threatened by the fact that they won't have a pension plan, and that they have no insurance, and what will happen to them if they have to, I don't know, go to hospital or whatever. But those that really embrace it, they feel so supported, and they really feel like somebody's, walking them through life, and it's a wonderful experience. So it's not for everybody, but those that can do it, and these people can do it, so it's great for them.
Are these all full-time people who live in Sadhana Forest?
Yeah, all full-time people. We have about 20-something full long-term volunteers in Haiti, India, and Kenya. I mean, in the 3 locations.
In each, 20 in each?
No, 20 total. 20 total.
Wow, for all those projects?
Yeah, and we have a lot of short-term volunteers, thousands of them, but staff we have about 20, 25, it depends, yeah. In Haiti we have also 7 local Haitian long-term volunteers who chose to live with us, and that's really wonderful.
Because your volunteers are all are located at Sadhana Forest and then they travel, or you have some of them will stay for a few years in Kenya or...
Yeah, for a few years. Like the project director and the assistant project director, they would stay for a few years. So for instance, Bruce, who is from New Zealand, who was our project director in Kenya, is there since the beginning for 2 years. And before that he was 8 months in Haiti. And before that he was a year in India. So he sort of was with us in India. We noticed that he's a leader, that he's a guy who can do stuff. We sent him to Haiti, then we started Kenya, we shifted him to Kenya.
And he lives there without any money. He sets up this Sadhana Forest, self-sufficient.
Yeah, he's part of Sadhana Forest. He's supported in terms of accommodation and food. He gets a very small stipend, 2,500 Kenyan shillings per month, which is like $20.
And who pays that?
But there's nowhere to spend money there so much because we're a very rural area in North Kenya. And he's super happy.
So all he does, he grows these trees and creates a forest.
Yeah, he trains local people. He plants trees with local people. He has a team of people working with him.
And who pays him? Where does that money come from?
The stipend? From Sadhana Forest, from our donations.
Not from the country somehow?
No. We got a grant there from the UNDP, from the United Nations Development Program, but that's finished long ago.
So with the return of the natural canopy to these areas, are you noticing changes in rainfall, weather?
We're not big enough in terms of the impact area to affect rainfall, but definitely in terms of temperatures you feel a difference because there's so much shade and the regime.
Have you seen a return of
wildlife? Is different. I'm sorry?
Have you seen a return of wildlife?
Yeah, dramatic return.
Substantial?
Dramatic return. Like in India, for instance, in Orville, in the first 1.5 months we didn't spot a single bird. Yeah, now we have, the last count, we had 53 species.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about mammals?
Lots of mammals. Rabbits, hares, jackals, foxes, mongooses, and of course all the reptiles as well are enjoying the space and enjoying the mammals as well.
Dinner story.
Cobras.
A lot of cobras. Lots of cobras. It's funny because when we came to Sadhana Forest, where we chose to do our compound, there were 4 cobra nests in that very small area, and we used to see a cobra like every day, every single day in the first, I would say, year or more than a year. But then when they understood that there are many people there, they more and more they sort of migrated into. Now we see them sometimes in the forest, but we don't see them so much in the compound, in the residential area.
Is there a poison? Anybody got stung by poison by cobra?
Yeah, I got stung once, not by a cobra, by saw-scaled viper.
Oh,
Yeah, but luckily it's only me until now, nobody else. And it, just because I was foolish, I went into a patch of grass, very tall grass, and not thinking really what I'm doing, and got stung, but nobody else. And I think that
scorpions too.
Scorpions, yeah, but scorpions are just painful. I mean, they don't. The ones we have in India are into ahimsa. They don't kill you. They just
Hurt a lot.
Hurt a lot. Yeah. 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 The one I come from, originally from Israel, and in Israel we have these scorpions that bite you.
You're gone.
In 60s we used to see we used to see green snakes when we go from ashram to playground to sports ground. We used to see many times the green snakes.
Yeah.
Do they still exist there?
The rat snake, you mean the big one or the thin ones?
Green,
the
vipers.
Yeah.
Luminous green.
The tree ones, we see them. We see them sometimes. Yeah. Tamil people believe that you shouldn't look them because they will sting you in the eye. So you shouldn't look at them like this. So I try not to look at them. I know if it's true or not, but I don't want to take the chance. I want to find out.
But they're not poisonous.
Did you go to hospital?
They're not poisonous, but I think they sting in the eye.
Right.
Did you go to hospital for the time you were bitten by
Yeah, I went to hospital. I went too late. That's a long story. I went very late, so I had a lot of problems.
Stayed there for a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these are different activities that we do, like as offering to the community of Oroville and the community around, like an Equal Film Club. We have a tour and a film and a free vegan organic meal every Friday, and we have anything between 50 people and sometimes up to 600 people coming. So that's great. And we have a project called Children's Land. We work with local Tamil children and training government people in water conservation and tree planting and doing different projects of tree planting and water conservation in different places in India. And this is Haiti. So we are located here in Ansapit, the southeast of Haiti, and doing training of local people and tree planting, different ways of improving soil, like the keyhole garden that you can see. After 1 month, it looks like this. Mm-hmm. So it's, there's growth, and it's a very fast and effective way of improving soil. And
Can
this
you
is
describe that a little bit?
I'm so
That looks very interesting.
sorry. I'm so sorry. But we
Stop?
have, yes, because the
okay, I
next
didn't
session
look at
is
the
coming.
So can I have a 1 minute just
1 minute.
to wrap it up?
Okay, one minute.
Be fast now. You see this demonstration plot? This is after 60 days.
Wow.
After 1.5 years. Look now, remember the tent? Yeah, so the tent is still there.
Okay, one second. I have an idea.
Yeah.
Just put on pause.
Yeah.
So here we have FWE afterwards. We could have a table for Foundation for World Education. Okay, it's on conscious. What's
Funding conscious evolution.
Funding conscious evolution. So we could have a table for that at in the dining room at lunch, and that way this could be here for the next hour to continue.
I don't want to take your space.
What?
Anyway.
Yeah, actually, it's not possible. You have to plant a tree with the children.
Can we delay that just a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we want to see the tree planting.
How long and we might want to go plant the tree with the children.
Or maybe we can all go and plant.
How long does it take to plant a tree?
How long does it take to plant a tree? Maybe 20 minutes? Half an hour? I mean, if we do it
Or
really
maybe
slow.
we can have another session later on or tomorrow
Okay.
to
Why
continue
can't
from
we
where we
get
are
the
leaving
children
now.
here to listen to you? I'm missing my children. They should be here listening to Aviram.
We can-
They're welcome. I mean, if Aviram has to go plant a tree anyway.
We can, if you want, we can integrate them into this.
Cancel the planting of the tree.
No. Bring the kids. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Okay.
on the concept.
Negotiation now, hang in there.
Collaboration, my friend.
Mother is at work.
Oh God, I have a threat here.
I'll remind you.
Yeah, you remind me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then everybody goes.
Okay, so we're continuing here. Creative planting methods. So we're using different creative planting methods, like seed clay balls, for instance. Seed clay balls are balls of seeds and clay and compost. And we make them, we dry them in the sun, and then we throw them on the ground. And when the rain comes, the clay absorbs the water, and the seed germinates, and then we have a tree. As simple as that. So this is the ball.
Some books for the next
Yeah.
program. Is
Sorry
Praveer
to
starting
disturb
right
the
away?
whole order. For instance, here there was a ball inside the crack in the bedrock, and the tree has grown, and it will become big, and guess where it would crack the rock? Yeah? So you can already see where it would, this is a method that we use. Actually, we use the helicopter because what happened was there was a helicopter that was flying a lot between our town in Haiti, Ansapit, and Port-au-Prince, the capital, and that helicopter was going back and forth. So we said instead of it going back and forth just with the UN military, we can use it for reforestation. So I went to talk to the general, and I told him, sir, can we use your helicopter for tree planting? And he agreed. So we put our volunteer, Gabriel from Finland, on the helicopter, and he used to travel like every day with the UN helicopter. It didn't cost us anything. And he threw the seeds, and he became such good friends with the pilots that he would tell them, go to the right a little bit. I think.
So were those seeds packed in something?
No, not in the seed clay balls, because the balls drop when they we use just a lot of moringa seeds. These these seeds that are naturally spread airborne. They're like flying off the tree. So we use those, and it was very good. It was good because the germination rate and survival rate was very low, but the effort was also very low. So compared to what you would invest if you need to plant all these trees, it was like zero investment.
And there's fantastic food
of
trees.
I'm sorry?
And they're fantastic food trees.
Yeah, they're fantastic food trees because they're the most nutritious leaves on earth. They provide very full nutrition. Moringa of oxalogenesis, which means that trees take carbon from the air and they can fix it into the ground as limestone, as calcium carbonate. We teamed up with this gentleman. His name is Professor Eric Verricher from Lausanne in Switzerland, and we're doing research together on this. Actually, we're going to publish a paper very soon about our measurements of the calcium carbonate near our trees in Haiti. So this is sort of a more academic thing, but the nice thing is that because it's sequestration as stone, it's permanent. So if you cut the tree or you burn the tree, the carbon doesn't go back to the atmosphere. So for global warming purposes, lowering purposes, it's very, very good. This is our nursery in Haiti, and we plant a tree called Mayanat, which is oxalogenic and food producing. You can see it's a small, nice tree. This is the food that is, this is 100% for Maya nut.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All this food that you see here is just Maya nut. There's no a single other ingredient. The oil in which it was fried, the flour is from the dried seeds. Everything is Maya nut. So it's very diverse food tree. This is reused in Haiti. There's a lot of clothing that comes actually from here, from America, and dumped on Haitian shores because it's very illegal to dump them here. So they dump them there, and then we use them for mulching and for different things. This is in Haiti, so our trees, our Maya nuts are giving flowers and seeds, and they're very happy, and we're very happy.
Is that tree?
This is the first tree that flowered. And
Aviram, how
yeah.
old is that tree?
This one was 2.5 years.
Goodness.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But in the literature, they say that. In the literature, they say that it would give seeds only after 5 to 7 years. But that tree didn't read the literature, I think. What it did. Flowered out there. They have their own.
So how many people is the Haiti forest benefiting?
I would say benefited is a undefined word. I mean, I would say that about 5,000 households, more than 5,000 households have trees. Not all of them benefit already. Some of them will benefit in the future. Yeah, not all of the trees in all these 5,000 households are producing. But we planted 80,000 trees, and roughly in 5,000 households. Yeah.
And what portion of their food supply will the trees ultimately
So it
provide?
depends on how many trees they planted. We have people that planted only one tree. We have many people that planted, let's say, 5 to 10. So they could support, maybe half of their food or a third of their food. We have people that planted 20, 60. We have a guy that planted 200 trees. We have different scenarios. We have people that have a small kitchen garden. They could only squeeze a few trees. We have people that have a larger farming area.
So these are lands which are very arid, no rain, nothing.
Hyper-arid, yeah.
And whatever water they need for the bottles or whatever, they get it from.
So we encourage people actually to use recycled water, to use either baby bathing water, laundry water, or dishwashing water. These three waters, rather than use fresh water, because the amount of detergents they use is not huge, and we experimented that it doesn't cause damage to the tree. So we encourage them, instead of carrying fresh water to the tree, just to use recycled water. And that works perfectly for most people.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. In Haiti, it's less of a problem. I mean, it's a problem, but not so huge. In Kenya, it's a huge problem because people have to carry the water sometimes 5, 7, 10 kilometers. So you wouldn't want to carry water just to water a tree, even. So we. In the training, every tree planting in Sadhana forest starts with training. There's nothing like tree distribution. We don't distribute trees. We train people for 3 to 5 hours, and then they get the trees. Only when they finish the training, they get the trees. Otherwise, it's a mess. You give people trees, they just put it in their backyard, they forget about it, they don't value the trees, and they don't understand, and it's not good. So
you sell seedlings? Is that how it goes?
no, we give free seedlings.
It's a gift.
The training is free and the seedlings are free. Yeah, it's all free.
And they don't have Maya nuts, right? They have a different kind of food.
In
They also
Kenya?
eat
In Kenya.
In Kenya, no. Kenya, it's different. Yeah, we have other species. So the thing starts with the research of the species. What species are appropriate in terms of water consumption, in terms of food production, in terms of people liking them. Because you can't tell people, you have to eat this. So the training ends in Haiti and in Kenya with a walk in a nursery. Okay? So after you've trained how to plant, how to take care of the tree, we walk you through the nursery and say, these are the species that we have. We have now, let's say, 18 species. What do you want to plant? And the person chooses. It's not we choose for them. And every tree is GPS. Okay? Every tree is marked on a map. So I know exactly where is every tree. I can open my computer here on the Wi-Fi and see all the trees that we've planted on a KMZ5 and see and measure the canopies of those older and everything.
Wow.
So
you use satellite images to compare the current?
Yeah, we use public satellite images, and we also buy satellite images sometimes for like high definition stuff. We buy satellite images and analyze them. Yeah. Okay.
So you can zoom into a small area from a satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean
You can find your house here.
The satellite images.
Well, that is because there's partly satellite and partly.
Satellite images go to very small definitions now.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can even buy 50 centimeter plus minus accuracy. Yeah, in that definition, you can, if the tree is like the canopy is like 3 meter diameter, you can see it.
So you can locate your patch of the land.
Yeah, I mean, you buy for the whole area, and then you have all the points of the trees, and you just look at that point. You compare it with last year. Last year the canopy was 2 meters. This year the canopy is 3 meters.
Okay.
You know, you can also extrapolate, and because you know the species, so you can say, okay, when will the canopy close? You can calculate that. Yeah.
How do you GPS a tree?
I'm sorry?
How do you GPS a tree?
So when the training's finished and the person chose their species, our volunteers go with them physically to their home and take a point. Yeah, record a point.
Of what?
Of a GPS. You know yeah, they take the coordinates. Yeah, they go back to Sadhana Forest. They upload it to the map, which is on the Google Drive, and I can access it at any time and see it.
You can do it on your iPhone.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can do it on your iPhone. Where am I?
Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't know that you could zoom in that way.
So, okay. So,
very good.
Guys, we need your attention. So, this is potential for growth. So, what is the concept in Kenya exactly? As you can see, this is a satellite image, and there are huts here, yeah, where people live. Okay, and they own the land. It's all privately owned land. It's not public land. And the idea is that after the training, we plant a few trees. Okay? So this is Photoshop because those trees are not that big. So just to warn you that I'm cheating you. But just so that you can see them. And then if they take care well of these trees, we plant more. And then more, and then more, and then more, and then it becomes a conservation project. So the idea is to create forests in concentric circles. Yeah. So I plant near your house, and eventually they all connect.
Yeah.
And once you have so many trees, probably the water cannot be too far. Sooner or later, the water will find a way to.
Yeah.
Find
But that
itself.
would take time. I don't know if in my lifetime, but that's it. Let's be optimistic. So community trainings. As I said, every tree distribution starts with training. And then we go planting. We also answer two other needs of the community in Kenya. One is the need for water, and one is the need for phone charging. We're charging now 150 phones in average per day because people don't have a source of electricity, and we have our wind generator and our solar system, so we charge phones. It's very important if they need to call an ambulance or they have an emergency or something. It's very good, security reasons as well. We provide clean water, and in our immediate area the occurrence of typhoid has gone 70% down since we have supplying this clean water, because people are using this water rather than the dirty river water. We have a very dirty river that is infected with typhoid around the year.
Do people speak English there?
Huh?
You understand English, or you need?
I'm sorry?
Do the people understand English, or you use?
Understand English? No, they understand Samburu. We have a translator, and we have a team that speaks Samburu and English, and our project director Bruce is already speaking some Samburu. So, yeah. I want to also use this chance to thank the Federation for World Education for supporting us in Kenya. That was wonderful. And this is an award that we got in 2010 for our work in Haiti and India. And
Only
this
third
is,
place.
these are the locations. Only third place. Yeah. We didn't even expect to be there, you know.
First place must have been something incredible.
Okay.
I I can't believe anything could be better than this.
This is not a competition. This is about collaboration.
So, India, Haiti, and Kenya, and thank you very much. If you have any questions, I think we have a few minutes, right? Or
yeah. We got 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes, then we go back.
Would you?
Yeah.
I was wondering what your experience is with the local governments and politics that is associated with it.
So the experience with local politicians is that they always say great things about Sadhana Forest and never help us. So they never cause any problem for us, which is already great.
Right.
Because in these countries, you know, you can fall on somebody corrupt that would try to extract money out of you, and if you don't give them, then they will cause problems. So we never had that, thanks God. But we never had also concrete help.
Yeah.
How about India? Is the government is interested to spread it? I saw the map. You had Madhya Pradesh, but there are so many other places that are in need of plants.
The thing is that again, it's the same thing because you know, politicians, when you meet with the forest minister of a state or something, they tell you, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do this, and then you meet with their staff, and you know, nothing happens. So it's difficult to move governments. Governments are big mechanisms. Don't put that on the.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, no, seriously.
So at one point,
I want to stay in India.
Just before we were interrupted, you showed a picture of a round thing that you were growing things in.
The circle.
A little circle.
Yeah.
Would you explain that a little more?
Yeah, that's called keyhole garden. Or a circle garden. What you do is you dig a hole in the ground, a pan basically, of 1 meter diameter, 15 centimeters depth in the center, and pan shaped. Okay. Then you take all the soil that you have extracted from the middle, you put it on the sides as a sort of a
bund.
A bund, sort of a bund. Yeah, but you don't compact it. You just leave it there. Then, in the center, you put leaves that have been soaked in something with nitrogen. We use human urine because that's the cheapest. So soaked in 20 liters of water and 1 liter of human urine. Overnight, you put them in the center. If you're not vegan, you can put also dung, like cow dung or something. We don't use it because, and then you plant everything around on the bund. You don't plant in the center, okay? So the watering is only in the center, and all the roots are going to the center, and very fast this thing is transforming into a very fertile sort of soil. You plant the heavy feeders close to the circle and the less heavy feeders on the outer sides of the bund, right? So those that need more food and water would be closer to the pot. And That's it. Within 30 days, you usually have really nice soil in the center, and then you can decide what you want to do with it. You can either leave it as a circle garden and grow your food in circles, which is not a very economical way of using space if you have a very small space, or if you're very limited in space, you can harvest what you've produced in the center and do it in beds, raised beds, or whatever you want to shape you want to do, spirals. I don't know.
And then
I think we got to stop here, I'm afraid.
We got to stop.
Thank you. So the area in the center would have the...
Again.
Do it so I can get a picture of you doing it.
I want to do bubbles.
Yeah, he's our expert dragon summoner of bubbles.
I did a giant one earlier.
Yeah.
Last one.
Go on, do it again.
And it'll come through. We'll go outside.
Wow.
Whoa. Whoa, that one's walking. Oh. Did you get that one?
Yep, I got that one. Do it again, do it again.
Let's wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen,
wrap it up.
I'd like to introduce you to Aviram.
Hi, Aviram.
And,
Hi.
okay, so you want to give you a few words about what you're about, Aviram?
Okay, so I'm about trees.
Oh, right on. We love trees.
And planting a tree, and it's my first tree here.
Awesome.
I'd like to tell you what we're planting.
Okay.
And where's Niraja?
Over there.
Where?
Niraja is right there.
Niraja, would you tell him what we're planting and why?
Cherry blossoms.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's related to mother.
Mm-hmm. Call it, you know? You know?
I didn't teach him that.
Huh? No. What did mother name it? Because she named all the trees that she worked with.
Oh, I don't know.
She named them. I don't remember what she named that one, but I'm sure we can find out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I
she
didn't
named,
know that
She
one.
named them according to their consciousness having them. So there must be a name for.
You know, Aviram, I wanted to mention that.
I'm texting her to find out where she is. Orally?
She's coming. She's coming.
Oh, she's here.
Well, I'll talk to you later. And the reason we were talking, we went
but I forgot.
We went to the Japanese.
Blossomlikeaflower.com.
No.
We went to the Japanese tea garden yesterday. The experience what Mother, felt like in Japan. Her art changed as a result, and she had an incredible experience with a cherry tree. She experiences total oneness with it, and so that's why we chose the cherry tree. Well, Niraja chose the Japanese cherry blossom. When she chose it, I knew it was the perfect thing to have. So we were able to find one.
Wow. Great. And where is it?
It's over here ready. And why don't we get some shovels and help shovel?
They're all over there ready.
They're all ready? Oh, okay. Let's move on down there.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Hold on.
I can take a picture. I can shovel or anything.
No.
Huh? Are you sure?
Huh?
Yeah.
Which is the site?
I'm not sure what the name of the two sites that do that. The Oral Society, I think, has some of them. Blossom like a flower. Blossomlikeaflower.com, I think is. But if I had a few minutes, I could look for it.
I can do it. So you are planting. I can bring my phone to take it out. You have a phone. He said that into an Oral Society.
Okay.
Kids, come over here. I want you to. Niraja. Right.
Orally!
Orally.
She's in the garage and tell her to come. I want her to personally meet Aviram.
You have to go to the
Sorry about this. I never miss my appointments.
yeah, maybe, yeah. So now where is it for the tree? So the big piece of the tree.
Okay, I want to introduce
So do I search it?
Yeah, look at this stuff. What are we doing this stuff for? What do you think we need this for? I'm not into this. No water in here.
Yeah, trees. Do you have a shell?
The
one that they are planting.
What are we going to do? A rope. Are we going to jump rope?
Smile.
What are we doing in there? Are we going to hang on this tree? How many of you have planted something before?
Leaves falling and there's seeds falling and it all grows by itself. There's nobody doing it in the natural forest. Right? So we're trying to mimic nature. We're trying to imitate it and see how we can do that in a different way. So we'll do that. We'll plant above the ground.
Not only that, but we're having a drought. Do you know what a drought is?
Yeah.
What does that mean, Sophie?
We're running out of water.
We are running out of water. And so this is something different. Can you tell us how this saves water? Why this is better?
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll use these bottles to water the trees. There will be a little rope here that will go directly to the roots. Yeah? Where do the trees drink the water from? Roots. Leaves? No. Right? So we'll use it directly to the roots. Where do we drink water from? Mouth. Right? So we drink like this. Right? Not like this. Yeah? So the same thing. The leaves also, the trees also like to drink from their mouth, and we'll give them the water directly to their mouth. And then we can adjust the amount of water we're giving them. Okay? By opening and closing, we'll adjust the amount of water. Cool? Try it out.
So they get the water they need. So, who's going to dig the first?
So we don't need to really dig. The tree exactly.
Where it is, right there.
Where it is, right here. Where it's standing now.
You know, I'm kind of wondering if we, because it grows tall, is it going to have room to be here?
It doesn't grow that much tall.
You can move it a couple of feet.
Yeah, we
probably.
Move it a little bit here. It would be maybe better because it won't grow much like this. You can always prune it a little bit if it grows too much on the cars. Or maybe you want to
You think that's better?
Could be a bit further from,
well,
from
it's
this
going to
tree
hit
and
that
not on
tree
the-
there, though.
Yeah, but that one.
It doesn't grow that tall. It doesn't grow that tall.
Yes, it does. We can just compromise here somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we can do is we can just move the mulch away a little bit. No, not there. Just where we planted tree. Is it okay to plant it here? Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So-
Sophie, you're going to do the first one, huh?
Maybe let's look at the slope. So where would the water come from to this location? When it rains, where would the water flow? What did you say?
I think it's pretty much
Flat.
flat here.
I think it comes from up there.
Not flat.
No, it's from up there.
Maybe a little bit.
Coming from here, but I see a slope from here.
there.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe we can make a small trench there so we can harvest the soil. So maybe what we'll do is we'll put it here so we have more space for a little trench. We'll put it here. It's a sort of a low space. This feels good. Low.
Oh, did you notice that it feels good? Remember we were taught to do feeling good.
Yeah. So, if the tree would stand there, we have to harvest the soil from somewhere to make a little heat, okay? Because there will be a heat. So, I would do the trench here. Yeah? So, let's mark it first. Let's move the tree. Let's mark sort of a semicircle where you think the water is coming from. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, too much from it. Yeah.
Nirja, can you just slightly, yeah, thank you.
Samesh, do you know what kind of tree it is?
I don't know, Saraswati?
Yeah.
What tree is this?
And then, do we have...
Oh,
Lovely.
That'd be pretty.
So in April,
no, I mean
March
here.
or April.
Yeah. You can start digging it up, but let's first. Do we have some water?
I'll get the hose.
Yeah. So we can water this a little bit. Do you have some compost?
Oh, yeah. Where's Phil?
All our stones Sophia.
He went in with Sophia. With Sophie.
So, wow, I want compost and water.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You could just ask for a donut.
Time? So what time is the lunch there? Oh, we're having lunch here? Oh. What about the dog? Is it coming from? Oh, okay. So all the kids are having lunch here?
It's natural. Bigger water bottle.
So all the kids are already here?
It's a huge water bottle.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
So there's nobody in the hotel
This here is my
who's come from there? Any adults who's come
showed
from
on
the
his
hotel?
model was
All the adults are here.
oh, that's not very good.
So these are much bigger water bottles. But you don't